All right, for today's asynchronous activity for GTT class, you're going to read this article, You Students Medical Marvel Took 2 weeks. This was an article that came out in May, kind of at the beginning of this pandemic when different hospitals and medical, clinics were really looking for personal protective equipment and there was a shortage. And so it really is applicable to kind of design and the design process as well. So you're going to read through this and then you're going to answer the 5 questions in the Schoology quiz that go along with this. I'm going to read through this with you. If you don't want to listen to me read, you can just pause the video now and read it on your own. If you want to follow along as I read, you're welcome to do that as well. So here we go. You Students Medical Marvel Took 2 weeks. The next time it feels like the world will never get better and there's nothing anyone can do to make it better, remember this. A small group of students from the University of Minnesota just invented a new Class 1 medical device and got it into production in time to save the University Medical Center and a children's hospital from running out of personal protective equipment. It took them 2 weeks. The University of Minnesota Medical Center and the University of Minnesota Masonic Children's Hospital were running through thousands and thousands of protective gowns each day. They tried to buy more, but the supply chain from China was broken, and every other hospital was competing for the gowns that were left. The solution was waiting in the last place they looked. The Department of Biomedical Engineering and 18 student volunteers from Professor Stephen Soliderman's biomedical engineering classes. The M Health Fairview Hospital system needed gowns that were affordable, disposable, one-size-fits-all, and safer than the garbage bags doctors and nurses have been forced to wear elsewhere. Every manufacturer, medical supplier, and PPE broker they approached told them no, or didn't return the call or put them on a waiting list. On April 17, the hospital reached out to Soliderman, who reached out to his students, who hopped on a Zoom call. If you can help at times like these, take the initiative, said Malcolm Pithawala, who led the team of students that searched for an affordable source of raw material for the gowns. People are in it together, and everybody wants to help each other out. What better way than to collaborate and solve a problem one step at a time? The students broke the big problem into small parts. During the first group call, Anna Karos started sketching and cutting out gown prototypes on Post-it notes. She led the design team. We prototyped with trash bags, with tablecloths. We picked up whatever plastic sheeting we could find at the store, she said. With each new design, they consulted with doctors and nurses who offered suggestions or pointed out flaws, but ended each meeting on the same note. Whatever you have, it's okay. It's okay. We just need something. Instead of trash bags with armholes, the students designed a gown with sleeves, wrap-around ties at the waist, and thumb holes so the sleeves tuck neatly into gloves. The students gave up nights, weekends, free time, and class time to work together on the project. Nels Schaefer divided his time between design work and his terminally ill grandmother, who was fascinated by the project. She told me how happy and proud she was of this effort, said Schaefer, who lost his grandmother to cancer shortly after the first gowns went into production. I'm always going to remember that. My effort is dedicated to my grandmother. Fixing America's broken PPE supply chain wasn't a lesson students could learn from a textbook. Something like this, it's almost like a crash course, said Logan Remington. I find it so much more useful than anything else that I've learned in college. Soliderman teaches classes on medical device prototyping, but his students have their entire senior year to come up with a medical device. Now deadlines were tighter and the stakes here were much higher. We'll take it, Soliderman told Dr. Kevin Wang, the anesthesiologist who first reached out to him. Give it to my students and we'll solve it. While the design team worked on the gowns, the materials team, led by Sam Newell and John Liu, figured out what they should be made from and how. After dozens of calls and few takers, they found Polar Plastics in Oakdale. Not only did the company take the job, some of its clients offered to delay standing orders to give the hospital gowns priority. By the end of the week, high-quality anti-static polyethylene film was rolling off the assembly line ready to be fabricated into gowns. 10,000 gowns a day for the next 6 to 8 weeks. Waiting to fabricate those gowns was Red Fox Innovations in Arden Hills, which took the job even though barely half its workforce has returned to work. They told us, "We need 350,000 gowns. Can you help?" said Red Fox President John Borbor, who gets a lot of calls like that these days. And this time, he said his company could help. One team of students sought regulations and guidance from the Food and Drug Administration to make sure the federal government had no objection to the gown. Another team kept track of records, including the 700 emails exchanged during those 2 weeks. Production of the new Gowns for You began in earnest on May 1st. Thanks poured in from the hospitals, from pediatric nurses who got to test the first prototypes, from administrators who will sleep a little easier at night. For team members like Peter Linden, the gown project brought a sense of purpose and comfort after weeks of dislocation and isolation. On campus, just seeing other students study at the library or working in the labs made him feel like you're a part of a collective effort, he said. Being pulled out of that leaves a gap. This has helped fill it. Linden said. Just to feel like you're on a team with people, trying to solve a legitimate problem in your community. It's been neat. So now you can go back and answer those 5 questions on that Schoology quiz and get that submitted. We will see you guys later. Have a good day.